Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruise. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work. They're all mine. The Only Male Cruise Show. Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. Multitasking up in here. How's everybody doing? Today's show, Kel's court case. Who's lying? Somebody's lying, y'all. Trying to tell you right now, be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, replay gang, leave a comment, because you know I want to hear from you. Yep. And what else you guessed is we got infamous Sylvia back in the house. All right. So we're going to go over a narrative today. All right. And like I said in the title of the show, somebody's lying, y'all. It's some miscommunication going on and some misunderstanding going on. And we're going to go over that. So the victim, or the I'll just call her the plaintiff, or wait a minute. Hi, Sylvia. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, girl. I was just going to get right into it because this is such a this issue is so pressing. Because, you know, and you made this comment earlier, a couple of days ago, about, you know, the folks, they're coming out the woodwork.
Yes.
Certainly are. They certainly are. Just like the show that we saw, the show that was on YouTube yesterday, well, 2 days in a row, actually, with the Savages. And that's something else. So shout out to the chat. Thanks for pulling up, y'all. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't already. We are about to just kind of go through. Here's the thing. This is really a social justice issue because, like I've been saying, and again, I didn't come to this revelation really until I had an opportunity to actually meet infamous Sylvia. This is a social justice issue because RKelly didn't get a fair trial. He did have some unqualified jurors. And what I'm about to go over with you guys today will show you some incompetence that really was going on in the courtroom. And, you know, I'm going to say even on the part of the judge and the AUSA. So, you know, and so whether, you know, like the Savages got on there a couple of days ago and they said, I heard the husband saying, well, you know, he's this and he's that, you know, speaking negatively of RKelly. And the point is that has nothing to do with the law. You understand what I mean? The law says you have to have real evidence before you can even not charge somebody, but before you can try them. You know, and certainly before you can find them guilty and then try to put them in for 40 years or more. So we have all that going on. Then you got the family. But Sylvia, I did want to ask you, why do you think people are coming out trying to say, hey, Kels is this and that and 2/3? Why do you think that's going on?
Because everything that was done in the dark is being revealed in the light, meaning that the whole trial was not shown to the public. And the only ones that was given the information out was the ones that was in court, which was not that many of us. They only allowed 8 people from the outside to sit in the courtroom. And the 8 people, a lot of them were not bloggers. They were not people that, was giving out information. And then you had the one-sided main media who was giving out their perspective. But according to one of the news sources, and I talked to them because I said, we're sitting in the same courtroom. Why are you saying this and you're not telling the whole truth? It was told to me that their boss told them that if they do not stick to what is being presented, like, the negative side of Mr. Kelly, they will not get paid for their what do you call it, production or whatever, their
Ooh.
broadcast. So there, somebody, I guess the machine, as Tasha K can say, the
Mhm.
machine is keeping them from giving the whole truth, the
Mhm.
whole story. Only one side is being shown, and that there was a narrative that was put out. It was more interesting to put the negative on him because of the Me Too and the
Right.
Times Up people.
Right. And see, and I made a commitment to myself that I'm not going to show any more pictures as long as I'm on top of this R. Kelly case. I'm not going to show any more pictures of him in that orange jumpsuit because the truth of the matter is, before I came to learn that Kel's got an unfair trial, um, I came to the conclusion that seeing him in that orange jumpsuit just reinforced my
Yeah.
mindset that he was guilty. You understand what I mean?
Hmm.
And so, and when you say, the machine is out here pushing things and spinning the narrative, that is a very subtle push.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I don't have any problem admitting it. Before I met you and started, and actually interviewed you and went over this, Kels was guilty. He was done. You get what you deserve. But come to find out how unqualified those jurors were. He wasn't guilty. But so I've just made that commitment. I'm not going to show him in any negative way. And I feel too like, people are happy right now with the ability to talk about all of the salaciousness about R. Kelly. You know what I mean? Oh, he did this and he did that. He deserves to be in jail. He doesn't deserve to be in jail if you guys didn't prove that he did in fact commit those crimes.
Yeah. And then here's the other thing too. And first I want to say I appreciate you changing that those pictures in the narrative because it's not
Absolutely.
fair. It's not fair. And there it's a conditioning that they're doing in people's mind. It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
As long as you see him in that orange outfit, you're gonna think guilty. And
Yeah,
I think I do appreciate you for saying and doing that. Now
absolutely.
the other thing I want to mention is that they keep putting that whole Aaliyah things in people's mind.
Hmm.
You got to face the facts. Number one, when Aaliyah was alive, there was ample amount of time for them to charge him and say he did this, did that. Did anyone do anything? Did any charges come up about him? No, it did
Yeah,
not. Obviously, there was an agreement. Somebody mentioned, there's no way a preacher would knowingly know that this person's underage, perform a ceremony for a marriage.
right,
Okay? Knowingly knowing that this person's underage and don't have a parent consent, they
right,
would not do that because that's a violation. Okay. And then you have other people who are not being charged, who, number one, Demetrius Smith himself said in a recording, because I recorded him in my conversation because I was playing Miss Detective. I've been in this a long time.
Sylvie's on
And
the
in my
case.
and in my conversation with him, he said that Robert did not know anything about it. He knew somebody that worked in the welfare office that he took Aaliyah to. Robert was not with him.
Mm.
And he said Aaliyah signed it herself.
And the other thing too is, and the mom, again, and I mentioned this last time, the mom says that never happened. Okay. The mom says, Aaliyah's mom says, either we were with her, either I was with her, or her dad was with her.
Hmm.
Okay. So you cannot have it both ways. And while, rest in peace, Aaliyah, while Aaliyah was alive, she never did,
Hmm.
um, come out and say that when they were married. She never even said they were in a relationship. I know they asked her a question on I can't remember the name of that show. I think it might have been Rhapsody or something like that. But they asked her a question and she was a little coy, but maybe she was doing a little boot knocking with R. Kelly. And if she was, that's her business. You know what I mean? If she can go out here and sing all these songs that brings it, make everybody else is doing it off them songs. So, but that's her business.
But
Um,
my thing is, Mel, sorry for
mhm.
cutting you. My
No,
thing
no.
is, If you guys, I'm not saying you as a,
Sure.
but I'm saying generally,
Mhm.
if you guys are saying that she's so underage, why is it that she's singing provocative songs, the way she was dressed, and
That's
the image that she was portraying as
mm,
someone older? And if you ever noticed, every time they kept asking her how old you were, a girl never tells her age.
that's
That's what she
right.
would always say. A
Yep.
girl never tell her age.
Yep. And that's exactly my point, Sylvie, because that's what I'm saying. Like, if she, R. Kelly, back then, he, like I said, he was a Pied Piper. That's what he called himself. And so then you look at the type of music that Aaliyah was performing to
Hmm.
and singing. If the two of them found a chemistry and the two of them got together, hey, it is what it is. I mean, you know, she wasn't complaining, and you know, so it's a moot point at this point, because when you had it to, if charges should have been filed, then they should have been filed then.
Hmm.
And the parents never did that. Aaliyah never did that.
Even
So
if the parents didn't, then why didn't the state take over and do
this
it?
is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. So that to me is a moot point now. At this point, now with the Savages, copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, they are all mine, and of course, my guest, infamous Sylvia, has her own views as well.
Mhm.
Um, but the Savages are coming out with I don't. I that the 2 days in a row thing that they did was wild. It
Mm.
was wild.
Mhm.
And then the therapist that they had on there, which I heard her say that she is actually on one of the shows. She's one of the consultants on For My Man. And I when the live was going on in there, I was like, I'm really disappointed in you, because you on that show, For My Man and Fatal Attraction, I think it is, those are real crimes. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Those are real crimes. And then here you are. What's tea? So
Hey, Sean.
hi, Sean David Way. Shout out to the Sean David Way show. Um, yeah, so I did put in the chat. I'm disappointed in you, because this is this is a serious situation, and you're showing up. Just her presence being over there with the Savages in her role as a professional, and someone who on the program, they're advocating and telling the story of the people who were victims of crime. That to me still seems like some psychological training they trying to throw
Mhm.
on.
Mhm.
So really,
Like
the
I
whole.
said, the roaches are out.
Hmm.
The light is being shown, and the roaches where was eating all the food at night, and they just like
Girl,
scattering right now because they don't know
girl,
what the heck is going on.
they coming hard. They
They're
coming
coming
hard
out.
in the paint. Coming hard in the paint. Um, so today, what I was going to have us do was go over just a little bit of testimony from Jane. And the reason why this is important is because this, as we discussed, Bonjean has filed that motion that's that's simmering. And all of the things we're covering are the issues that she has raised, and is saying why Kells needs to be acquitted. Because at this point, he doesn't even need, it would be a disservice to him to try and retry him again. Okay, so they do just need to acquit him. But
Yep.
so the AUSA, and you guys will see her picture scrolling on the screen. So she starts, she opens up this line of questioning with Jane. Okay, and Jane can't tell the truth, according to the court transcript. So Jane is asking her. The AUSA, Elizabeth Geddes is her name. So she says, over the course of your 5 years with the defendant, what, if any, restrictions did he put on you having contact with your family members? And she says, well, eventually I couldn't talk to them at all because they would want to know about my well-being, which was something that Kells didn't really want her to disclose. That doesn't even make sense. Um, so she goes on and asks, okay, what, if anything, did the defendant advise you to share with your family? And she goes, well, he said I could talk to them about things, how I've been, things like my hair and my nails and whatever city we were in. But any personal questions like abuse or other girlfriends, he would tell me to hang up immediately. And I come to find out that, and they're trying to make it, the narrative they're trying to spin right now is like, she was captive for like 5 years. But I come to find out that this girl had access to a cell phone even when Kels wasn't around. She left, at least 2 times from my recollection.
Mm-hmm.
And went back. And when I say left, she didn't run down to the bodega. She left the state.
Mm-hmm.
So, captive, really? Come on.
And then came back on her own.
Come on. And so, let me see. Let me jump in here because now, when you did speak with your family, where was the defendant? He was usually present. And did you also communicate by text message with your family members? Yes, I did. And when you sent those text messages, where was the defendant? Now, now her response to that question, she's clearly avoiding. She does not want to tell the truth because here's what she answers. Okay, I'm going to read the question again. And when you sent those text messages, where was the defendant? Her answer, the defendant would tell me exactly what to say. See, I couldn't be no lawyer because I'd have been like, Yach, answer the question. That's not an answer to the question. And so of course, Getty's the one who's, the AUSA. She's not, if she were the defense attorney, she would have pressed her on that and said, no, give me a good answer. She says the defendant would tell me exactly what to say. And when the defendant wasn't around, would you call and text message your parents? No, only if he had me to. Why wouldn't you do that without the defendant? Because I would have gotten in trouble for doing so. So that your answer is not because I didn't have a phone because he had me chained up. Your answer is I would have gotten in trouble. I'm gonna need you to quit, Jane. Jane Doe on the go. I'm gonna need you to stop all this. Oh, let me hit somebody up in the comments. See what y'all. Thanks for pulling up, y'all. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Replay gang, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Shout out to RKelly wins appeal. Ain't that right? Pink unicorn in the house, girl. Love you. Let's see. All right. So let's get back to these questions. He says, well, why wouldn't you do that without the defendant? Well, because I would have gotten in trouble for doing so. What, if anything, did the defendant do or say that made you think the defendant would find out about it? And she says, well, usually he would basically talk badly about all of our parents. If we were not angry enough, he would then get upset and make us, tell us we weren't being loyal to him and make us feel bad. So you're a prisoner with access to a cell phone and has left his presence on multiple occasions and left the state on multiple or at least 2 occasions. And you mean to tell me you didn't text your parents when you had a chance because he would come back and say you weren't loyal to him and it would make you feel bad? Okay. Sylvia, you still got that swampland you said you had yesterday on your show? Is that still for sale?
Who wants to buy? Who's ready to buy from that swampland?
Come through.
And you can build your house with a basement.
With a basement. Come on. This is here. Was there anything that the defendant did that made you think he would find out if you violated one of his rules and reached out to your family? Yes. What did he say? He had expressed that he had engineers who knew how to get inside the phones and go to the cloud and see who he'd been talking to. Now, y'all, please pay attention because, it's about to get thick. So, again, the AUSA. Now, to your knowledge, did the defendant ever do that, or did the defendant's engineers ever do that? I don't know. When you say the defendant had engineers, what do you mean by engineers? His studio engineers, they did a lot of stuff pertaining to his gadgets and stuff along with his, like studio time. Now, I just read that verbatim, y'all. And when you say gadgets, what are you referring to? His like iPads and phones and stuff. Okay. Did you learn the names of the defendant's engineers? Yes. What are their names?
I love this part.
Girl. Ian and Abel. Well, how did you learn their names? From the defendant. Were you introduced to either Ian and Abel? Never. Okay. Were you in Ian or Abel's presence? Yes, I had been in their presence a few times. So the AUSA is now, y'all know how I be on Law and Order. Your Honor, I'm going to show witness evidence marked for identification for the government, Exhibit 49. So she shows her Exhibit 49. So here we go. What is shown in 49? This is AUA asking Jane Doe. She says, that's one of his engineers. However, I don't know their names. The only time I had seen them was in the studio sessions and their back was towards us. So we never saw their faces. We didn't ask you all that. Ain't nobody asked you all that. That's how you know you trying to hurry up. You hope that if you overtalk the situation, okay, if you overtalk it, we won't catch on. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here goes get us again. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you know, well, how many engineers did the defendants have that you know of? It was 2 and they were Caucasian, so I do know them. This is one of them. Ooh,
But you never saw his face.
Well, but you just went through this whole rigmarole about, I never went through it and all we did, and then we seen this, and then they have giving us an answer that ain't nobody asked you.
Mm-hmm.
But here you go. Okay. And you know, when I started reading that, I was like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? If you know, a truth teller is not getting ready to go through all that. They're going to let you build the case. They're going to let you build up the questions. But okay. So she says, let's see, hold on, sis. She goes, yeah, it was 2 and they was Caucasian. So I do know that this is one of them. Okay. But you don't know his name? Yes. See, that was a Freudian slip. Yes, I don't know his name. I don't know his name. So Miss Geddes says, she offers 49. And so now the judge, she asks any objection. And so now the black man, I got to do this. I did this on purpose. All right. Mm-hmm. So this is, and you had mentioned this guy before, Sylvie. Devereaux. And I like that name. Mm-hmm. But this is Devereaux Canick, Esquire. And he did work on behalf of Kel's case. And you had made it clear, I think during our first interview, Sylvie, that he didn't have any part of the voir dire, correct?
No, he did not. He came in about 30 days. He even asked for extension for him to get acclimated to this case.
Right.
And the judge originally gave him 2 weeks, but then she had to back up to 2 weeks because Geronda was supposedly going to have her baby right then at the time. So they said that they would cut it down. And that they didn't get the full 2 weeks that he asked.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, he tried, so I'm not mad at him a little bit, you know.
But Tom Farinella is the one who picked the jurors. Yeah,
and I peeped his game a little bit too. Yeah. So let me get here. So the court says, any objection? And so Mr. Canick, the man that just showed you, he goes, yes. And you just testified that you never saw his face. I don't know if that's how he talks.
No, that sounds just like him. You sound just like him. You can imagine. Yes. That's the way he sounded.
Right, cool. Because he looked like he's a brother. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he could.
Oh, yeah. He was getting frustrated a couple of times. Like, okay, hold up.
Yeah. So he comes in here. He goes, let's see now. Let's see where we are. Okay, so yeah. He goes, yes, you just testified that you never saw his face. And so now here comes the judge. And I'm going to tell you, this judge has pissed me off real nice. Because she jumps right in. She goes, do you want to voir dire this witness? You know, Judge, be quiet. Let me go to work. You see, I'm trying to do something. Be quiet. Shoot, you ain't on the job. If you was on the job right now, Judge, we wouldn't even be here because you wouldn't let none of these jurors be seated. So don't try to act like you about it now, Judge. Sit down. So she goes, do you want to voir dire the witness? He goes, yes, Your Honor. She goes, okay. So now she's allowing Mr. Canick to speak. And so he's asking Jane, you just testified that you never saw the face of the engineers. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Didn't I just say that?
Mm-hmm. She goes, I was not allowed to look at men. Yes. Again, answer the question. Ain't nobody asked you, was you allowed to look at men? I'm going to need you to stop all this. Ain't nobody asked you that. We're going to get to that. We're going to give you opportunity to spin that lie too. Just hold on. Dang. Take your time, Jane Doe. So she goes, I was not allowed to look at men. Yes. That's not my question. My question is, you just testified and told the jury that you never saw their faces. Am I correct? I would see the side views. Yes. Ooh, wait. Ooh, wait. Again. You see what I'm saying? So you went from never seeing them, you went from not knowing their name to I do know their name. Okay. All right, Freud. That's what we're gonna call you. Freud.
Mm-hmm.
Says, and you testified and told the jury a short while ago that the only thing you could see were their backs. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there were times when they would bring the defendant coffee, so I would see their face just very briefly. You done went to never seeing them. Sylvie, run it down, girl. Girl, run it down. I gotta sip this water, girl. I just
Never seeing them.
oh wait.
Then you saw the back. Then you saw the side. Then you
Lord.
saw his face for a
Briefly.
brief second.
Very briefly. Just a second. Hold on. Okay. All right. Just very briefly. So what you told the jury a short while ago, and here come the judge again, trying to act like she's doing her job. So here's Kenny. So what you told the jury a short while ago, here comes the judge. Do you want the voir dire on whether she recognizes him? Let's not do cross right now. Why, Judge, are you stopping this man's flow? You know he was getting ready to hit a slam dunk. You know that's what he was getting ready to do. Come on, Judge. She's just doing too much and she ain't doing enough. So she goes, well, let's not do cross right now. This is my case. I'm running my case, okay, Judge? All right, so Koenig says, I'm anxious because he ready to get this thing over with. He ready to free RKelly. So the witness, I know that if you're asking me, do I know if this is, I do. Mr. Koenig goes, there's no question. I ain't asked you a question. He didn't say that part. I'm ad-libbing now, y'all. But he did say there's no question. So here come the judge once again. Just let him put a question to you. All right, question. You testified that you don't know the names of the individuals. I do not. And you testified that your recognition of this person, well, sorry, I actually do know the names of them. I just said it, Ian and Abel. So you can't help for lying. Let me run that back real quick. He goes, you testified that you don't know the names of the individuals. I do not. Well, I'd like to know how long he waited. You know what I'm saying? How long it was just silence in the room. She goes, I do not. And you testified that your recognition of this person, well, sorry, I actually do know the names of them. I just said it, Ian and Abel. So here come the judge. Do you know which one is Ian and which one is Abel? And the witness, no, that I do not know, Mr. Koenig. Objection, judge. Dang. So he jumped in. Anthony Clay, ain't that the truth? Anthony said, right, she keep interrupting. And she interrupted now. And now she about to straight Bogart. So he goes, objection, the black attorney, he goes, objection, judge. And here goes the court. Are you still objecting? Are you still interfering? See, I couldn't date to have me in the jail all the time. So Mr. Koenig says yes. And so the judge says, well, I just want to make sure that I understand. So she takes up the question. Do you recognize this person? And Jane, yes, I do. And here's the judge again. And how do you recognize this person? And here's Jane. Because he would bring the defendant coffees. However, if I saw him, it was a very quick glimpse. It was not because I was trying to look at him. Okay, but the question is this one of the people that you saw? And Jane goes, yes, it is. And then the judge says, well, at the defendant's recording studio? She goes, yes, it is. So she just straight up bogarted his whole line of questioning and distracted his whole, where he was going with it. Free RKelly, y'all. I mean, what, judge? But you couldn't do this when it came to the jury selection. You couldn't do that. Shout out in Living Color TV. It's the Oh, shoot, Alexis, girl, you be having me laughing all the time. Alexa said, it's the voices for me. Yes, Mel, narrate this SUV. Girl, you crazy. Y'all shout out. Make sure you follow In Living Color TV. She be breaking it down. She's on YouTube, Instagram, and what have you. Facebook, too.
Right.
So I'm presuming that y'all see these lies so far. Why do you have to lie like this if you were jammed up for 5 years, couldn't get away, and then now you why Sylvie? Sound off, Sylvie. What's this all about, girl? What's the lying for?
Money, 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 money.
There you go, Chase. Something's going on. This just ain't right.
Something is wrong with the milk. It seems like it's very sour.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So there goes those little pieces of lies, and she's trying to do it subtly. She's trying to she's trying to remember what she has said and what she thought she said, and she ain't all there. She's just not all there. And I don't think she knew it was going to be this pressing when she actually got on the stand. But so I do shout out my man Devereaux, because he clearly made an effort. You know what I'm saying? As far as I can tell, as far as these transcripts, he made an effort to try to get this thing on the right track. So now we're going to talk about a part in the transcripts where, and this leads me to the comments that the Savages were making when they were live these past couple of days, talking about people are saying, arrest the parents, put the parents in jail, this, that, and 2/3. And y'all talking about allegedly, and so throw that out there, allegedly, he was inferring that, y'all trying to say that the parents need to be arrested. Well, why do they, these are our kids. We did everything we could, so on and so forth. It's like, okay, now that's your position. But let's look at some parental activity. Let me shout out this comment real quick. So Anthony Clay says she had to testify or lie because if she didn't, the government was going to lock her parents up because they already knew the truth. I agree with that. Okay, so let's talk about this Jacksonville, Florida trip. And there are actually 2 Florida trips that I found.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the one. Okay. All right. So now this is still Koenig asking, still examining Jane Doe. So he goes, now, Mr. Kelly put you on a pedestal, didn't he? Did he not? No, he did not. Well, isn't it a fact that you told the government during one of those interviews that Mr. Kelly put you on a pedestal? I do not recall. So Koenig approaches her. He says, look at the highlighted portion of this and see if that refreshes your recollection. You've read it? I do. She still can't tell the truth. He says, you've read it? The appropriate response is, yes, I have. She says, I do. What? You're not trying to be understood. You don't want to be understood. You're just lying for oh, Lord Jesus. All right. I do. All right. Does that refresh your recollection that you told the government that Mr. Kelly put you on a pedestal? It does. He put you on a pedestal. Am I correct? No, he did not.
What?
Y'all, they couldn't write this for TV. They couldn't write this for TV. One more time for the people for the replay gang. Look at the highlighted portion of this and see if that refreshes your recollection. You've read it? I do. Does that refresh your recollection that you told the government that Mr. Kelly put you on a pedestal? It does. He put you on a pedestal. Am I correct? No, he did not. That's in the document. Am I correct? That is true. Yes. That's what you told the government. Am I correct? That is what is in the document. But you were the only one conveying the information to the government. Am I correct? She says, correct. So it's clear she's not trying to tell the truth. She don't want to tell the truth. He ain't gonna make her. Okay? He's not gonna make her tell the truth. Listen, Carolyn Marie said, so she lied then and now. Holla.
Hello.
Absolutely. The truth that they sent her. Anthony Clay, boy, you's on it. Anthony Clay in the house. Ain't that it? Alan Browning said, this is a joke at this point, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
A whole joke, an entire joke. Mr. Cal, oh yeah, follow. Yeah. Please like, share, subscribe. Replay gang, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. And be sure, y'all, I got the ticker popping. And if you read it closely, you're going to see the Cash App of Infamous Sylvia. So we are asking you to make it rain on her Cash App. Any amount is cool, but your donation helps to offset the cost of these very expensive court documents and transcripts. And, you know, that leads me to this, Sylvia. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the show. Right now, everybody named Mama's out here talking about RKelly, and that's all good in the neighborhood. But most people are talking about it because it's, girl, and then he said he did this, and he was with this, and then he did that. But it's still lies. You guys are getting all this information out of a court proceeding that clearly was biased.
Yep.
And clearly where the very people that you guys are repeating were lying.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just really just regurgitating lies and putting it back out here in the system. And this is a social justice issue. Shout out to In Living Color TV. Absolutely. It's not only is a mess, it's a hot mess. But, you know, I'll ask y'all, how many times have we seen on the news where somebody is finally getting released after being locked up for 30, 40, 50 years, but we didn't know 30, 40, 50 years ago that he had got locked up on a frame? And the only reason why Kels is getting all this extra attention is because Kels is a celebrity and well known. But how many other people did the same AUSA, Gettys? Yeah. How many other people are in jail right now behind this horrible presentation of a case and are allowing witnesses like this to be straight up lying?
Yep.
Come on now. So that's why this is important. All right. Let me get off my soapbox because Sylvia getting that deed ready for that land in Florida. Ooh, that's swamp land. All right. Okay. So Mr. Cannon goes, he says, there was a time going back to the trip to Jacksonville when you got to Jacksonville, you and your mother, you and your mother had traveled up to Jacksonville together by car. Am I correct? Correct. And you got there early morning hours. It was after his show had ended, yes. And you wanted a bed. You needed a place to stay. Am I correct? Yes. And you were offered 2 bedrooms by Mr. Kelly's assistant. Am I correct? Correct, yes. And your mother said that she would go and stay elsewhere. Am I correct? That is not correct. It's not correct? Okay. Where did your mother stay that night? I believe she had taken his assistant's room and the assistant went to a different hotel. Isn't it a fact that she refused the room? No, she did not. Okay, well, calm down, little girl. Calm down. No, she did not. She had been driving and did it. In fact, want a room. What? Wait a minute. That don't even make any sense. He goes, it's not correct. Okay, where did your mother stay that night? I believe she had taken his assistant's room and his assistant went to a different hotel. He asked, isn't it a fact that she refused the room? No, she did not. She had been driving and did, in fact, want a room. Isn't it a fact that you told the government? Shout out to Tariq Nasheed, the government. Isn't it a fact that you told the government during your interview with them that your mother refused the room and wanted her own room? That is not accurate. So again, the government made another mistake. And now here's the AUSA. Objection. And the judge, sustain. You're gonna let him keep on? You ain't gonna bogart right now, Judge? Are you gonna actually let him rephrase this question? So Kanik says, showing you this document, and I direct your attention to the second paragraph. Now it's a pause. She goes, sir. He says, yes, just a second. Now, isn't it a fact that your mother was offered a room but refused it? That is not accurate. It's in the document, right? Yes, sir. And according to you, the document is wrong? Yes, sir. You wrote about that incident. Am I correct? What are you referring to? You made some notes about that incident, the trip up to Jacksonville. Am I correct with your mom? Y'all, listen here. That's damn near it. That's the podcast. I'm going to come back live and I'm going to let y'all know what she wrote about the trip to Jacksonville.
You got to read that letter too.
That's what I'm talking about. Y'all's going to throw you off. You heard what I said. You know, free RKells, y'all. Free RKells. Let me hit some of these comments up here. Hi, Mel, Sylvia, and chat. Thank you, Mel, for being open-minded to the truth and help spreading the word of how the world was used. Of how the world was used, Black community, specifically the wrongfully incarcerated. Girl, a sweet one, you was not lying. You were not lying. Yes, free RKelly. I thought they said that he flew her in. Well, see, there's multiple trips, Anthony. There's multiple trips. And from what I can tell, she done lied about every single last one of them in one sense or another. Okay, allegedly, even though this is in the court document. So that's what I'm saying. All these other platforms are coming up. So like there was a show on YouTube last night and the man had, one of the other ladies on here who, let me ask you this, Sylvie, Joy, that's the girl that's the middle child of the Savages or what? Clarify that for us.
The one that was there yesterday?
No. The one that was part of the Kells gang.
That was the oldest. The oldest, the 26-year-old. She's
Okay.
26 now, but she was 19 when she went to him.
And they call her Joy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Her name is Joycelyn, but they call her Joy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, yeah. So this same girl over here, Jane, she mentions Joy up and through here, very briefly, but it's significant. So I'm definitely coming back. There's no doubt about it. Just to share that part of it. And look, we're not trying to beat this thing down to the ground. We're just what I'm hoping to do. And I'm really so thankful to you, infamous Sylvia. And since Sean Davy Way was in the chat and hopefully he's still here, I'm thankful to you too, Sean, for, thinking of this collaboration, because I'm telling you, I'm so happy to be helping Sylvie do what she's trying to do, because Sylvie, you ain't no joke with this girl. You are serious, and to the point where you're not about no mess. You are not about no mess. It's the truth. And I'm just glad that your voice is out there reminding us to look at the thing. We have rights. And we're all entitled to a fair trial. And all we have to do is just, think of ourselves being in an orange jumpsuit in a jail cell and knowing that we whether we did it or not, knowing we didn't get fair representation.
Yeah. And Mel, I want to also say that there was an attorney I had on my live who was against Mr. Kelly. I just checked out. He just did a video on Mr. Kelly's side. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. and we so much have to be so vigilant about these laws now. And that's why I said this is more of a social justice issue than anything, because whether this was R. Kelly or any other Black man, the truth of the matter is this man got railroaded in the court. He got railroaded in the court, and we can't let that stand. And so the people that facilitated this railroading and facilitated all the things that happened for him to be taken to the train station now seem like they all coming out in droves like, well, see, let me tell you everything negative about him. Okay, well, just speak on you, because there's enough of that. Just speak on you. Mm-hmm. So you guys be sure to like, share, subscribe. Look at the ticker. Go ahead and make it rain and Cash App. I want to thank you all for pulling up, showing out. I got some new subscribers in the house. And for all of you that are new subs, thanks. I really appreciate it. Tell a friend to tell a friend, because we want to get on this. And back to what I was saying was that, I'm just trying to get us all caught up on, what's going on in New York, because now they got time. And Sylvie, didn't you say that's like March 10th or April or something like that, when this judge is going to rule on this?
It's going to be after April. It's going to
Okay.
be after April 4th because that's when the defendants have a
Hmm.
child. Yeah.
Okay. So as far as facts are concerned, it's about to get a little quiet in these YouTube streets. I mean, because after this point, there's really not going to be a whole lot more, to like, oh man, breaking news, until this judge in Brooklyn, the same one that tried to bogart the whole line of questioning, until that, that gets determined. And I'm going to be so excited to see what she said. So I just wanted everybody to get caught up because Chicago is in the process, and that's going to be a current situation. And so, it's going to be helpful if we know the backstory, and then when we hear the arguments of what Chicago's saying, then we're going to know what if this is the same thing. But Bongine, and I did notice in those lives, the Savages were like, Bongine who? Bro, don't act like you don't know. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't act like you don't know who Bongine is. She's bringing y'all that work. You know this. Sweet one said, Lifetime violated RKelly's rights across the board. Never in history has a doc. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Lifetime violated RKelly's rights across the board. Never in history has a doc been created before charges, police reports, etc. RKelly wasn't investigated until after that fake documentary. And good point, sweet one, because the truth too is Andrea, and we said this on the last episode, Andrea, well, see, I couldn't look at men. He probably let you look at everybody, Andrea. Stop it. Stop it right now. I couldn't look at men. And so here she's piggybacking off of that. Either they piggybacking off of each other, Andrea or this Jane Doe, talking about, I wasn't allowed to look at men. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. You went from seeing them briefly to seeing them all. You can identify them in a whole picture. Stop it. So y'all listen, that's it. That's the podcast. Thank you for pulling up. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, replay gang. Make sure you leave a comment because I want to hear from you. And we'll be coming back just to bring you some updates on a couple of letters. And then, like I said, after that, we pretty much going to be waiting until we get a response or some updates show up about what's going on in New York. So I say that because when you guys see RKelly and the hashtags moving forward and you go on there to see what time it is, hey, it is going to be what it is. But just, y'all at least are hip to you guys know from the transcript that was a clown court. It was a clown court, period, point blank. All right. Well, that's it. That really is the podcast. Until next time, y'all, we going to see ya when we see ya. Thanks, Sylvie. Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruise. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work.